All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Typically a show met on a football Friday with frivolity and fun, but instead not today, right out of the gates.
No, unfortunately, bad news. Normally we would be talking about how we literally told you exactly what was going to happen on the Thursday night game. Basically verbatim. We spoke it right into existence. We'd be tooting our own horns and be patting our own backs. But unfortunately, news not great out of the cross-country mortgage campus today. Browns running back and stud Nick Chubb is out. That's an appropriate sigh. The good news is we've got Kareem Hunt, who led the league in rushing a few years ago, who has been a dynamic, dominant force. And he and D'Ernest Johnson, who, if you recall, when Nick Chubb went down against the Dallas Cowboys back in Week 4, stepped in, rushed for 90 yards in that game, averaged over 5 yards a carry last year. So your running back situation is in better hands than it would be anywhere else in the league.
That's right.
Should the top guy go down. But still, you want to have Nick Chubb when the undefeated Cardinals are coming to town, and you will not.
It's what's crazy about this one, and I asked you about this yesterday because obviously you tend to watch the games from the field level. Did you see anything in L.A. on Sunday? And your answer was no, that you did not. So when did this happen? What happened? How did we get to this point? And by the way, we'll get to the rest of these injuries in a second. He's the first of many. Now, he's the only officially ruled out, but my hunch is there will be more as the questionable list is lengthy.
Yeah, and I think Malcolm Smith, the linebacker, may also officially be out. But then, as you mentioned, questionable list, it is lengthy. Jadeveon Clowney, Jack Conklin, Myles Garrett, A.J. Green, Kareem Hunt, Tack McKinley, Greg Newsome, J.C. Treader, Denzel Ward, and Jedrick Wills, all listed as questionable for the Browns in this one. And, to my knowledge, after talking with A.J. yesterday, that would have to be, I would think, a fairly late ad and perhaps indicative of something that were to have happened today.
We had him on the coach's show last night. There was no sense of it.
No sense of injury at that point. So
this is alarming on a lot of levels. It's alarming at tackle that both tackles are in this mix. I think that's alarming. I think there is a mix here of probably a plan that Kevin Stefanski's had in place since July of 3 games in 11 days. Hey, let's make sure guys rest. So there's a mix of that, and it's hard. I would have thought Nick Chubb was in the mix of that, quite frankly, until today. I would have thought Nick Chubb would have been in the mix of this is precautionary. Nick Chubb doesn't need to practice. We know who he is. We'll see him on Sunday, and we'll see him against Denver. It's not the case. So, but some of these guys could be that, but I do think it is concerning at tackle. It's concerning for me at corner. My hunch is that Kareem will be good based on
Kareem should be good to go.
Yeah.
You've got
but I
D'Ernest.
think corner and tackle is
all right. So let's talk about those for a second. And by the way, my mistake. AJ Green had been listed as limited all week with a shoulder and a knee. We did talk to him last night, which makes me feel pretty good that he will be able to go on Sunday. But again, we don't know at this point. So you go through this list of people who are questionable. Not practicing all week typically does not lead to playing. And so for Jack Conklin and Jedrick Wills, I think you have to assume, we do not know, game time decisions. And in the past, Jed went out there and tried to do it on Sunday. I think it will come down to Sunday. But I would think if your expectation should be that the Browns will be starting Blake Hance and James Hudson at tackle, and it also means you're probably going to have to elevate one of the tackles, Alex Taylor, that you just brought back in, who spent time with you in the preseason. You might have to elevate a tackle from your practice squad just to have another backup. Remember, Blake Hance is not a tackle he played tackle in college, but in the NFL.
Guard in NFL standards.
Guard and a center. And so this is a significant development if you don't have those two. At corner, I feel very good about Denzel. You will have Greedy. You've got Troy Hill. I think Greg Newsome could be back as well. He's been able to go through practice all week. I think the question will be, does Greg Newsome immediately come back and start as he is banged up, or does he play more of a sub-package role given how well Greedy has played and that Greedy is not on your injury report this week?
Yeah. Now, there was some good news this morning in regard to Jarvis Landry as he was moved to eligible to come off of IR. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he will play Sunday either. And so that's something else that we're kind of waiting on.
Yeah, and my thought on that is that My guess would be, again, these are not scores. This is guessed. My guess would be that he probably makes his debut Thursday night against the Denver Broncos.
All right, so what we just laid out is would be concerning in any week, but is especially concerning when you're taking on an undefeated football team in Arizona. Now, they have their own injuries. Rodney Hudson will miss this game. Chandler Jones, I can't imagine him playing based on the fact that he's in COVID protocol and is symptomatic, even though he is vaccinated. So it's hard to imagine Chandler Jones playing in this game. But this is an Eagle team, or this is a Cardinals team, rather. I mentioned Eagles Freudian slip as they acquired Zach Ertz this morning.
Yep.
But he will not obviously be able to play.
Correct.
Frankly, he played last night and scored.
And scored a touchdown.
So there's that. But that's going to make them pretty dangerous. You add him to what they already do. This is not ideal in any way. This is a big-time test for us, and I think that there is enough here to be concerned. And I think when you think about everything we were talking about this last night on the Coaches Show, look, this is a team that has not proven that it can stop the run. They were very effective against Derrick Henry in Week 1, but that Tennessee had to chase that game, and they weren't able to really commit to the run. Part of what we assumed we would do is based on having both backs, and now we wake up on a Friday afternoon and find out that we won't.
Look, I think that it would be an absurd statement to say that there is no fall off between Nick and Dearness, but at the same time, I have a lot of confidence in Dearness Johnson's ability to go out there and handle a complementary role to Kareem Hunt and to run well and to put up over 5 yards a carry. That's what he has done every time he has been called upon. This is why, when we were going through in the preseason, remember there were people who were saying, Dearness Johnson, it's him or Felton. They're not both going to be on there. I said, Dearness Johnson's on this roster.
Yeah.
And the reason is he is trusted by this staff to do anything they need him to do on special teams, but he's trusted, more importantly, as a running back, as a pass blocker, as a pass catcher. And I fully believe that he is going to have an opportunity. He's going to take advantage of it like he's done every time in his history. Go back to Dallas, rushes for more than 90 yards in that game when Nick Chubb goes down. I think that Dearness Johnson is ready, and I think that he will put forth a very good showing for the Browns in that complementary role. And I think this will be a chance to see, Kareem Hunt much more in a true lead back type of a role. I
have zero concern about any of that, but I think when you add to that the fact that it's quite possible you could be without both tackles, that's when it starts to get a little trickier.
It does.
So now you're talking about if potentially being without your two starting tackles. One's a first-team All-Pro. Jed's been playing banged up for much of the season, and Blake's proven more than capable. But Conklin's a first-team All-Pro for a reason. And there's no Nick Chubb. And you're going to need every point, I think, against this Arizona team. Yeah.
I'm not getting on this bus to negative town with you.
I'm not negative town. I'm realistic town.
This is a
realistic town.
In Week 2 to Minnesota, 6.6 yards per carry. That's a team that runs a very similar scheme in its ground game to ours. 5.5 yards a carry to the Jags, 5.3 to the Rams, 5.4 to the 49ers.
I'm such a trend center.
We are absolutely going to be able to run on this. Yeah, it's a good thing that you scooped those early. What are they called again? Are those the same?
I think so.
No, those are not.
No, those are different.
Those are not.
Those
Nikes.
are different.
But you are a trend center nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean it's starting to really sweep the nation here. The facility. Speaking of trendsetter, I came in here in such a good mood. I came in here just naive to the Nick Chubb injury.
Yeah.
I come in here. I'm excited. It's a football Friday, and then I see you in this gorgeous hoodie, just a gorgeous hoodie.
It's pretty good.
Gorgeous white 1946 logo hoodie, gorgeous, just beautiful. Love that. Nike branded, so you know what you're getting there. That's strong to quite strong.
That's right.
That'd be a pretty dang good primary.
This is the logo. This is
really clean.
This is very clean.
Yeah,
it's not the coveted hoodie, but it's pretty good.
No, but if you're going for
the offerings, this is elite.
The non-coveted,
yeah,
pretty good.
This is pretty elite.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's very, very strong. So that's where you are. That's where you are. You're gonna need to match points with them at some point. This is a big one on our defense. It's a big one on our defense, and we have a bunch of guys on the questionable list there. It's a big one on our corners, as you articulated yesterday. 22% of the time they're in 4 receiver. So you're going to want as many of those guys obviously healthy and ready to go as possible. And it's a big one on our defensive line. I heard John Johnson talking about this yesterday and his availability. He was talking to Case Keenum, who said, look, it's almost like you don't want to rush Kyler. in the traditional sense, because what that does is give him lanes.
Yep.
And he can dance around back there. It's almost like what you want is it's the old Braveheart, hold, hold, hold. You just want to push the entire pocket at him, and if it can come in the middle, then that's probably the most effective.
That's where you need it. And with Rodney Hudson out, I think it gives you a much better chance to push that pocket up the middle against Max Garcia, who's going to have to fill in for him. I mean, again, 185 pass blocking snaps, Hudson hadn't allowed a single pressure. So he is elite. For the Browns now, this is Malik and Malik up the middle. They've got to push that pocket and then allow Miles and Clowney and McKinley to get around the edge. And I think that will be a huge part of what you try to do. You might at times bring a linebacker or even a safety or even a corner into what I'd call a linebacker position to spy and to shadow and to read his eyes and to try to get your hands on a football. He will throw. He's thrown 4 picks. 3 of them have come on vertical passes. Now, he's number 1 in every category in the NFL in verticals, interceptions included. So this is a Browns team that if you do get an opportunity to get your hands on a football, you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you got to do that. And so that's where you are on that front. Oh, young Scarlett in the mix as well.
Your T-shirt gets all the love.
I just think I do. We have a kinship of I know it's odd because you covered all the college football, and so it'd be strange that that love wouldn't come to you, but Scarlett loves himself the Clemson Tigers.
I thought my time in Jacksonville being around, ACC, SEC football would really have cemented our bond.
I was unaware that you made a stop between Tallahassee and Columbus and Jacksonville. So that's good to know.
Right, Tallahassee. Write it down.
Write that down.
Listen,
I want to make sure.
I like to get into
another icon walking
there he
by
is,
the
Mr.
great
Callahan. Write that down. Jacksonville. Great pools. TPC at Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Pier.
That team is over in over in London.
It is.
And they'll get Tua in that game. That's an early. Those London games for me. No thanks.
Really?
Yeah.
I recall you talking about how you loved waking up in the Bay Area and getting a 10 a.m., 1 a.m. on your Sunday.
Well,
this is the closest you'll get to it now coming
That's close I'll get to it. What was that, Gibby? Do you have something? Oh.
Okay.
I never know.
I like
Folks,
it more
here's
when you're
the deal. So we
the air.
don't know when Gibby is talking just to us or to the audience at large. Z and I do not know. It's unbeknownst. So here's what we have coming up on the program. We'll do some scores. That'll be fun. We'll look back on the game last night. Hollywood Higgins will join the program at some point.
At some point.
We'll have that.
He's doing a few things.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
I would think probably closer to 1:30.
We always make time for Wood. You'll hear from Coach Stefanski from last night as well. Get your keys to victory. It is a Football Friday edition. Big one on Sunday, obviously. Off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, you can win big with digital scratch-off game brought to you by Ohio Lottery on ClevelandBrowns.com and the Browns social channels. Fans can play once per day throughout the season by digitally scratching off a virtual card for chances to win great prizes like Team Shop gift cards and tickets to future games. For more information, log on to promotions.clevelandbrowns.com. Tampa Bay holds on and beats Philly last night, as we said they would. Philly with the backdoor cover. How about that? The go for two out of them in a non-go for two necessary situation. To
Which
go for two.
Well, we didn't get that part exactly.
That
but we
detail
did say,
we did not have.
What I said is that they were going to be down 13. They were going to score the backdoor touchdown.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay wins by 6, which guess what?
That's what happened. Yeah, that's exactly how it played out.
That's right.
How do you the NFL again with the pass interference? 2 of them. I do feel that we are at it's affected us now in 3 straight games. 2 straight games? 3. Bears, Vikings, and Chargers game last week. We've had 3 pass interference calls go against us. 2 were prayers. And really the other one on Troy Hill was great coverage. It was terrible.
Perfect coverage.
And in a normal circumstance, even in a normal pass interference, if they were to redo the ridiculousness of the spot foul, huge in the moments of those games. The Fields one wasn't, but that was the biggest prayer of all of them, although Herbert's was too. And you saw it last night in the game. And in this case, it allows for Philly to be closer than they would have. And I think they're at a point they're long past point where it has to be looked at. They're long past the point.
I don't think that any longer can pass interference be called on a vertical route where the ball is severely underthrown.
I think that all pass interference in the National Football League, it should be like the breakaway foul in the NBA, the clear path. If you get beat on a double move and pull somebody down, that's a spot foul.
Yeah, otherwise 15.
Everything else is 15.
But even
and
on
at
those,
that point, I think in an ideal world, that's an eye in the sky call, where they go, whoa, nope. And we saw it on our 2-pointer. They switched that thing. I don't even know if the 2 sidelines. I don't know if you could tell. I don't know if the 2 sidelines realized that they changed the call.
They announced it in the stadium. That's how we knew.
That's the only way you knew. It was because you looked at both sidelines, and I don't know that anyone even realized that they took it off the board.
Yeah,
that they changed it. That's how quickly they can do it when they know they're right, and that's what should happen on pass interference. You can't. They had one last night in the end zone where Aikman's going, if that's not pass interference, I don't know what is. Now they scored on the next play, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
but it was a mugging.
Yeah, DPJ got shoved out of bounds.
You can't have it. You can't have it. The 2 biggest things in football officiating right now that have to be fixed are NFL pass interference and college football targeting, where they throw the kids out of the game. Those 2 calls are ruining your Saturdays and Sundays consistently.
And in the targeting one, it should be when there is somebody who does something that is clearly malicious intent to get them thrown out. A kicker who's not used to tackling, who lowers his head to tackle because that's just not something that's really in his purview or his skill set, something that he's working on often. Like, that's not targeting. He was not attempting to harm anybody. In fact, he was probably trying to get himself out of harm's way, and that was the best way that he felt he knew how to do it.
No, of course. Yeah, that's it. And it's changing games. It's wrecking games. I also don't know what you do. 2 other things from the game last night. I don't know what you do with Philly with Jalen Hurts, because obviously, like from a fantasy standpoint, he's a darling. He scored a bunch of points again last night, but there's a limited ability to throw the ball down the field. He has so far exceeded his college projections.
Yes.
I mean, he was benched at Alabama because he couldn't throw it better than Tua Tagovailoa. That's the facts of it, okay? So that's the reality of that situation. So he goes to Oklahoma, goes to quarterback rehab, and he comes out. He has exceeded what anybody thought was possible. But it clearly is not the answer long term. You can't win in this league completing 12 or 14 passes on a given week. It's just not something that's going to last.
No, and you saw just some of the misses, the inaccuracy,
right.
Just not a natural throw. But I think he's got some potential, and he's got to improve that. And when he does,
he's a tremendous leader. Always has been. Always has been. The other thing that you saw is, and this is right now the difference between Tom Brady, one of the many differences between Tom Brady and many of the other quarterbacks in this league, and you've brought this to the attention on the show a couple of times. So many of these teams are playing shell, and they're saying take it. And too many quarterbacks don't have the patience to take it. They can't live with not taking the shots. And so Mahomes does this consistently. This has been the book on Mahomes. You've seen people do that this season where he starts to press. Brady won't press. He just keeps flicking it out. Screen pass here, receiver screen here, dump off pass here, matriculate it down the field and get points. It's just you have to be able to do it.
And Antonio Brown is back to being
Antonio
elite.
Brown.
I mean, he had more targets than I think Evans and Godwin combined in this game. And the fact that Leonard Fournette is now a solid complement to what they're doing. You play a light box, you play the shell. They can give it to Leonard Fournette, and they can run the football effectively, and they did that last night.
Most importantly from last night, how about Joe Thomas, Big Bird?
Okay.
Can we address this?
Yes, it was great. And as I said to you,
had he never been there
to Philly? Yeah, as a member of the Browns.
But like in the mix, probably not. Probably the first time in the mix.
He said he loved it, had a great time.
Yeah.
Since you didn't follow me, I tagged you and I said this is the one kind of bird that you might be able to be friends with, a Hofbird. As he was going, and Irv was like not having it.
Irv was not having it.
But did you guys notice the most important thing that happened in that segment?
Well, I saw Joe's tweet, because I do follow him on social, about how he almost was witness to a murder, and I believe him to be accurate.
Oh, yeah. So I see this happen in real time.
Yeah.
I fire off a text to the Hoff. Because the snap in his neck when he was hit with the beverage, Steve Smith's snap was like, he was into like, I'm going to – and you could
We should explain this, because this is not a show that's watched by the droves.
It should be. It's the best.
It should be, but we talk about it all the time. It's on NFL Network. It goes before the network picks up at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
So it goes from, 6:30 to 8 or 6 to 8?
Yeah.
6 to 8. So
it's
might even start before that.
It's the NFL's version of what TNT does with the NBA with Shaq.
It is.
It's that good.
And it is delicious theater. It is straight comedy. If for no other reason, just to watch the look on the Hoff's face when the other two are saying things, it's just
he goes off the rails.
Incredible when they do. And so go ahead.
It's a desk setup. It's a desk setup. So
they're live in Philly,
in front of a bunch of fans behind them who are drinking a lot of hard seltzers. It appeared as they would hold them up in the background. So perhaps there's a Bud Light seltzer sponsorship or something. But you had Colleen Wolfe on the left, then Steve Smith, then the Hoff, then Irvin. So the Hoff picks, and he has been kind of getting this crowd riled up a bunch of times and getting them to yell at Irv, leading them in, Dallas stinks chants and whatnot. So he goes he picks Philly to win. So he's playing to the crowd, and he's an eagle, he's a Hoff eagle, and he's doing this, and he's in front of Steve Smith and turns around to Irv, and now he's like in Irv's grill while Irv's making his pick. Irv picks the Cowboys, of course. Hoff's still going, and I guess maybe somebody in the crowd erroneously thought that it was Steve Smith who picked the Cowboys.
The Bucks, you mean?
Or the Bucks, yes.
Yeah.
Picks the Bucks, throws the beverage. You see it fly. You see it like the liquid hit off of his back, and he goes like it was
so
the
violent.
fastest snap around. And then from that point on, the Hoff basically said like he wanted to go into the crowd and he wanted to handle this offense that had happened to him. And he said it took a while to calm him down. He said at the end I think he still felt that at the end of the night, if Steve Smith could find that individual to make this right in his mind, he would have.
I wonder if he had eye contact with the culprit.
So I went back and watched it. So there are people, when he snaps around, he must snap around to the people behind with a look that says,
You're done.
Whoever did that,
yep.
Because you see a bunch of people do this and point. All of a sudden the pointing like, wasn't me.
Not me.
Not me. It's over here. So I don't know if they found that guy. I would imagine that he got
that
ejected.
Crowd week in and week out has continued to get closer and closer and closer on that set.
It was too close
like
last night.
I was like,
it's too close.
Whoa.
You have to go the game day model. So game day's been doing this for 25 years. You have got to be an elevated set with at least 20 feet of distance between fan and set. You cannot be that close.
They were close.
Yeah, you can't be that close.
They were on top of them.
I mean,
I've had to do a lot of live television in crazy settings. There's no winners there. Nobody wins.
So it was funny because I would, as I would find the various tweets that contained the videos of the particular moments, I would send them to him, and then he would then retweet those and then say, because when you see the head snap,
yeah.
I mean, this, he's immediately in fight or flight. That is probably having that on from 6-7 prior to us doing the Stefanski show, and then just in the background while we're doing it. It's my favorite NFL program that I watch by a billion.
It's the only
one that I watch
the
every
only
week.
pregame thing that I watch.
Yep, same.
That's it. I don't watch any of the rest of it, but I watch that show, and it's great.
It's
really great.
So
do you think Hoff was paying homage to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when those guys were professional wrestlers and they were like the Screaming Eagles or something, and they would come out like this?
I think he was. I don't know. We can inquire.
We'll have to see.
What I think he was doing was he had such a good time with how much they hated Irv.
Loved it.
That he was just like playing into because
it seemed like Irv was bothered how much they hated him.
Yes. No doubt. Well,
like,
Irv,
no
but he
respect.
also went out and picked when they said who are the top 3 teams in the NFC, put the Cowboys at number 1. And then they're yelling at him. He turns around, he starts screaming at the fans, like, "I can say whatever. I get to pick whoever I choose."
And
I
Hoff
choose
is literally right in the middle of all of it.
Oh, loving it. Game going because they were chanting Dallas. Not stinks, but it's close. And he was leading the chants, conducting. Like he was having the. I don't think he's ever had more fun.
No, it appears that he does not. All right, Hollywood Higgins going to join us here momentarily. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. EOX Vantage has that local presence with the global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. It's a testimonial from EOX Vantage client Ed Scheel. Ed is the vice president of Skyward Specialty Insurance. He said, quote, "The tools we've designed with EOX Vantage are real business changers that open the door for us to all sorts of valuable opportunities and efficiencies. They help our team members stay on the same page while collaborating remotely, make it easy to communicate with customers, cut down on the manual data entry and the associated input errors, and cut hours off processors and response times. Operationally, it's a brand new ballgame for us. Can be for you, too. Learn more at EOX Vantage by visiting www.eoxvantage.com. Call 216-298-1616. Rhyming is critical.
Yeah, so the ad comes back with, of course, Jack Conklin and Joel Bitonio.
Which is legendary. Legendary ad.
Legendary ad. But my name is Joel, and I guard. The punchline needs to rhyme with guard.
With guard. Guard's the key.
Instead, and I guard. Does he say the city of rock and roll?
City of rock and roll, yeah. Which visually, it's so satisfying to watch Joel air guitar and all that. That's very satisfying.
Like if he had said, I'm a guard and my name is Joel, I protect the city of rock and roll. Just one little flip there.
And you got it.
And you got it. You nailed it.
Nailed it.
But now we're wondering how we're living in a society where rhyming doesn't happen. Like Jack got to protect and quarterback, right? Which is a little bit of a liberty, but we can at least try to see it. But guard and roll, not. Just flip those two lines.
Not.
I'm a Pro Bowl guard. My name is Joel. I protect the city of rock and roll. And you have to throw a little shine facts. A Pro Bowl. You say I'm a 3-time Pro Bowl guard.
That's right.
Like whatever you want.
I like what you did there. I think next time that you interview Coach, you ought to ask him about that little switch, and if he would approve of that. I think game week he would really be into that.
Let's get Bitonio on the show, and we'll just go right to him.
That would be the way to do it. I imagine they wrote their own lines.
We need to find that out.
That's the other thing we need to figure out. Here is Rhyme Master Z with Coach Stefanski. Let's have a listen.
I'm a good lyricist.
You are.
You're down.
Cans yesterday. Very quiet guy, clearly about his business, but this is a pretty wild story. You think about driving here, everything that happened in the playoffs, a guy named Blake. I mean, he played basically center and guard in training camp, and then all of a sudden he makes his first ever start in the NFL as a left tackle, which he played in college, against Joey Bosa, and doesn't allow a single pressure. And yes, of course, there were chips, and the game plan was smart. Obviously, the ball comes out quick, but there were times he was one-on-one, and he held his own. Does that give you a lot of confidence, and what does that tell you about Blake Hance?
Well, I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. And, I think back to that Northwestern football program, and I've texted Coach Fitzgerald this. They do a heck of a job. Think about Blake, Anthony Walker, Greg Newsome, and Blake in particular. Here's a smart player, a very tough player, versatile, like you mentioned, played a lot of center for us in training camp, played tackle in the playoff game last year. So that versatility is a big deal, and it's really easy for me to talk about going from center to tackle. It's really hard to do, just from a technique standpoint, from an assignment standpoint. The guys you're rushing, you're much more in space, obviously, at tackle than you are at guard and center, where you kind of have bookends on either side. So it's not easy, and I thought he performed admirably. He's a guy that's going to do his job. He's going to do it to the best of his ability, and a few times there, like you mentioned, it was really, really impressive.
All right, we're on to Arizona. And that's the great thing about the NFL is that you have an opportunity every week to put what's in the past, focus on a new opponent. And guess what? Here comes the only undefeated team in the National Football League. An explosive offense, obviously. When you kind of just get into this team, what are they doing that makes them so dangerous?
Yeah, it's a great scheme, and I think it's a big deal that Coach Kingsbury's scheme. This is their third year together. I know it's the second year for the quarterback, but I think they are getting a better understanding of what they want to do and how they want to do it. They now have dynamic guys on the outside, guys that can win 50-50 balls. The quarterback's playing at an extremely high level, and he's never down until he's down. I mean, he's a broken play waiting to happen. He can throw it on time. He can buy time and make a play. So it's an explosive offense. And then defensively, they're big. Across the board. Obviously, J.J. Watt has been a great addition to them, being disruptive. Chandler Jones is a great player, affecting the quarterback really in every single game. And then they're multiple in what they do. I think in the back end, Buda Baker's, as impressive a safety as I think there is right now in the league. So I just think it's a really complete team playing at a high level. So we're really we understand this is a challenge this week, and it's a unique challenge because this scheme on either side of the ball is completely different than the scheme you just faced, and that's the National Football League, where you have to pour out everything you knew from the week before and fill that bucket up with everything you can learn about this opponent.
The one team, though, that put them on him pretty good offensively is Minnesota, which we know stylistically anyway, similar to what we do. So does that kind of, I'm sure that they're well aware of that, obviously, and so they're going to try to correct what they did in that game. But does that game become more important in the scouting than it would otherwise?
Yeah, I think everybody does, not just us. As you look at like-minded tape. So, for instance, San Francisco played them last week. We're a very similar defense to San Francisco. D'Amico Ryans is running a system that Robert Saleh ran, that Joe Woods worked in. So I think you do lean on that tape as coaches, and certainly the Vikings, that's some tape that we'll lean on. But, this defense is good. This is a really
we're back in a minute. We got Higgs.
Vance Joseph is outstanding. I got a ton of respect for him and what he's doing. So we're going to have our work cut out for us.
Back at home this week, back in front of the fans, and obviously undefeated at home so far this year. What does it mean to kind of take this team out of their dome, out of that fast track, get them to First Energy, get in front of our fans again?
Yeah, undefeated at home, I think that's not – I wouldn't say that's the players.
Back in 30.
I mean, the way that they affect the game, their noise when that other offense is out there and they're in the huddle and they're struggling to talk, and then they get to the line of scrimmage and they're struggling to communicate, that is a direct correlation to our fans. And I've been so impressed with what they've done to date in our home games, and now they get a 4 o'clock start, so they get to spend some extra time in the Muni lot. They get nice and lathered up, but they're going to affect the game on Sunday.
You're up.
Yeah, they certainly will. I love that line. Get them nice and lathered up. A 4 o'clock kick for this one in the return home. First of 3 straight home games. I can tell you one person will be there, and that's our good buddy Hollywood Higgins, and he joins us on the hotline right now. Hollywood, good to talk to you, buddy. Thanks for topping on with us. Just the excitement of getting back home and to play an undefeated team. Give us a little bit of the vibe. I know it's tough with the injuries and the news on Nick Chubb today, obviously not good as he'll miss this game. But if you can set that aside, the excitement just getting back home and playing an undefeated team. Hollywood, can you hear us, pal?
What'd you say, Ronnie? Where is that? Am I?
All right, we're obviously having some connection a little bit with Hollywood Higgins there, so that's fine. That's fine. It's all good. That's all good. It happens.
All right, it does happen. On the road, he's on the road to getting ready for this Cardinals team that comes to town. It's
a nice setup for us to play this Arizona team. It's a really nice setup to play this team. Coming off of, there's a lot that can be gained here. I'm guessing that there will be some doubters. Certainly, you were very negative at the start of this show in your approach, which I was shocked by. Usually, you're a man of nothing but enthusiasm.
I am.
I rarely see that out of you, but I understand it because there's a lot down. But there's an opportunity here to take on an undefeated team at your place in a 4 o'clock game, and there's a lot to be gained there.
There is a lot to be gained there, and it's an important game from the standpoint that this is a big one, because if you get to 4-2, right, you're feeling very good. You have the short week coming back with Denver, a chance to get to 5-2 going into your first divisional game. You lose this one, you're now 3-3. You've lost 2 in a row for the first time in the Kevin Stefanski era. Short week to get ready for, and then it just feels. Let's try it again. It feels like there is a lot of kind of pressure on this football team. This is an opportunity, I think. I think the Browns are the better team to go out there, take care of their business. Vegas thinks so too, and to get a big and an important win.
It does feel that way. All right, I think we've reconnected with Hollywood Higgins. Hollywood, you got us, buddy?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. There we go. There
Hollywood.
it is. It's good to hear your voice again, pal. Very good to hear your voice.
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy. This opportunity here, right? Obviously, tough news today with Nick. He'll be down, but nevertheless, at home, 4 o'clock kick. Certainly a lot of eyes will be on this one, an undefeated opponent. Just give us through the week of practice, kind of guide us what it's been like. What's the mindset of the team heading into Sunday?
It's been unreal. You know, we get a chance to go out and beat an undefeated Cardinals team. You know, they're looking good, offense and defense, so we got to come with it, man. We've been preparing pretty strong this week, getting our body back right. but nevertheless to say, man, we're on top of our game right now. You know, hard practice today, mentally practice yesterday, and we just want to go out and get this thing done.
Yeah, and Hollywood, you're coming off of a game in which you guys put up 42 points, over 500 yards of offense. It was as efficient as it could be. You get a touchdown down in the red zone. You know, when you guys went back and watched that tape, what stood out that you liked, and then what was like, okay, if we can clean up these couple things, heck, maybe we would have hung 50 on them.
Yeah, so going back into the film room, we like that, man, we could score at will. You know, we put up 42 points, like you said, but we left a lot out there. You know, a lot of mental errors when we went back and watched the tape. And if we would have cleaned those little things up, man, we would have won the game. You know, hats off to the Chargers, great team, but you know that game goes back to us. So we're gonna clean up a lot of things. Look forward to this Cardinals game Sunday, and we can't wait till 4:00 hit.
And certainly this city can't wait either. Coach said they're going to have a little extra time to get lathered up, so I expect it to be loud at First Energy Stadium. Hollywood, this team has had guys step up all the time. In different weeks, it's different guys. This week, it sounds like, you know, Kareem Hunt, obviously we know what he can do to shoulder the load, but Dearness Johnson is a guy that whenever he's been given an opportunity, he's been very productive. He will get more chances this week. How has Dearness looked in practice? And, you know, is he's a guy that I know you guys have complete confidence in?
Oh yeah, man! From preseason, and since the kid came in, he's always looked promising. You know, it's funny you say that because me and Dearness was in the cold tub, and when he walked in, I was like, Dearness, you playing some running back this week, right? He just looked at me and smiled. So I know it's a good feeling. I know that feeling because I've been in his shoes, and
Yep.
Him just being able to tote that pill this Sunday, I can't wait to watch him. It's gonna be fun.
Joining us on the hotline right now, our great friend Rashard Hollywood Higgins. I want to ask you, because I can't imagine how special home games are for you. The relationship that you have with this city and this fan base is so obvious. Would you have ever thought that you would have this type of adulation, love from a community, from a fan base like you do? I mean, it is crazy the way people respond to you and the way that this city has wrapped its arms around you and you around it.
Man, the love for this city that I have in general, man, it's just, I can't put it in words sometimes. You know, when me and my girl, we go out to eat, we're recognized all over town. Free food here and there. You know, it's just, I've been good to the city, and when you're good to something, it pays you back, you know. The fans, just the people, everybody's loving. Everybody loves this football town. Man, this is a football town, and I can't wait to, like, bring a championship to this town because it's going to happen, bro. I promise you.
We love to hear that, Hollywood. And by the way, how good did it feel to kind of get that red carpet out there again and take a little stroll in L.A., right, you know, a stone's throw from Hollywood itself?
Oh, my God. It felt so unreal just being in that stadium, just being in the moment. I wore a red suit to it, just knowing I was going to walk the red carpet, you know, so – I guess I gotta wear red more, man.
Maybe you do, yeah. Hollywood, in the National Football League, is that one of the easiest touchdowns that you've ever had, where basically they said, we're all going to cover that guy, and then you're like, here I am. I'm wide open. This is great.
Easiest one of my career, bro. Just take OBJ and just leave me wide open.
You love it. You gotta love it.
I love on the celebration how naturally you get into the collar adjust.
Yes,
because I think that's what really sets the tone for the red carpet walk, Hollywood. I think everything that's once you light that fuse, it's the collar adjust, and you're always ready for it. How did you come up with that? Do I have that right, that's the starting off point and that's the integral key?
Absolutely. You have it right, bro. So it all originated at practice. Me, OBJ, Bake, Juice, we was all just messing around, and we was like, man, let's, like, bring some fun. I was like, you know what? Bake, throw me this one. the lights are bright in Hollywood. How about y'all just like start taking pictures of me, and I'm gonna just walk the red carpet, bro. We did it. It's been my thing ever since, bro, and I can't wait till Sunday. I promise you, and I'm trying to pull it out again.
Have you, like, when that happened, that moment, was that one where everybody's just like, oh, like, that's good? Like, I feel like you would know right away. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's good.
Well, you have to have the strut. He's got the strut
got
right,
it
and
all.
so that's the key. I mean,
Yeah.
everything he's
got
doing
the
is
whole
right.
thing.
You can't fake that.
It's all about the strut, man. It's a strut.
One of the things that's been obvious since your guys, and I'll never forget your first camp with Bake, is the connection that you two guys have had. There's such incredible trust between the two of you. Is it to the point where you almost feel like you know exactly where you need? It's almost like it's an unspoken connection, like you're just where he needs to be all the time.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, that just goes to practice too. You know, him trusting me and me being in that right spot. Whenever he looks my way, he knows that, oh, there's Hig right there where I need him to be. Or even if he's scrambling, you know, I'm still trying to get open and just being in the right zone when I need to be at the right time. And that's where me and Baker, that's where we're special at.
You certainly are. It's like those old Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Dennis Hopper commercials. They got ESP, man. You guys
ESP, that's right.
You guys are on the same page, and it is a beautiful thing to see. Taking on this Arizona Cardinals team. They are undefeated. They are coming into our house where we are undefeated in front of the best fans in the NFL. When you've watched what they've done defensively, without telling us why, but have you seen some things that you feel good about for this week against this defense?
Oh, absolutely. You know, although they're a good team, there's some things that we can exploit, and we're definitely going to try to do that Sunday. You know, we definitely got to put up the points because they got a good offense. But you know, I'm rocking with the dogs, and that's how it's going to be, and that's how we're going to come.
What's it been like being back in front of the fans this year?
Oh, it's amazing. Just that first game, being back in that stadium, it was so electric. And then the game where everybody was chanting Miles' name, that was unbelievable. I've never seen so many people dialed in to chant one guy's name. Miles is insane, you know, so I expected that out of him, but everybody to chant his name like that was insane. And it was loud, you know, so.
Yes, it was. That was a pretty cool moment. There's no doubt. So you've seen, obviously, it's gone around, and I'm sure you guys have talked about what Miles has done in front of his house with the tombstones of the various quarterbacks. So my question is, for you, is there going to be like a red carpet that leads to trick-or-treaters to your door?
Maybe so, man. I got to come up with some ideas. Yeah, probably have Baker and all the guys just taking pictures on the side. I got to get them scoped out and put it in front of my house or something. I don't know.
I love that.
That is very good.
Let's go.
Hey, buddy, good luck on Sunday. Thanks for
Yes.
hopping on with us today on short notice.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, fellas.
The great Hollywood Higgins.
One of our favorites, man.
Yes.
I mean, we had him at those discount drug mart remotes. Brought the dogs.
Oh my
out.
God, yeah. We go way back,
There was
machine.
Something with him, and that was something that happened in Baker's rookie year in camp. That connection. It was every day at practice. He was the guy. It was just every day. Like they've been on the same page ever since.
Yeah.
It was, remember, like, he got cut here. We brought him back.
Yeah.
And he started at the bottom and had to work his way up because it was a new regime.
Remember,
Baker was at the bottom because he wasn't.
Well, he didn't need.
We weren't ready to
reps.
wrap our arms around him yet.
He was inactive, I want to say, at least the first 3 games last year.
Yeah.
Maybe more. He and Donovan Peoples-Jones were both inactive to start the season last year.
Yeah. Yep. And then
Both played massive roles down the stretch.
Yeah. It's great to see. It's just him. You think about him, Njoku, guys that have been around. There's ups and downs, right? But the perseverance pays off in the long run, and it has for those two guys who are two of our great friends of the program. All right, coming up next, we get you your higher or lower. I'm sorry, a little over or under.
Was that Were you a victim right there of a
Freudian slip.
teleprompter, or that was a Freudian slip?
Freudian slip.
I was going to
Because
say,
of the victor, who the victor
It's
is.
it's called
It's
the
return
return
of Chesty Gibby.
of Chesty Gibby.
He's awful chesty. So we'll get
Oh,
to that.
boy.
We'll get your keys to victory and your scores. Final hour on a Football Friday edition. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, second hour on a Football Friday. Obviously, the headline of the day, if you're just joining us, Nick Chubb down this week for the Browns as they take on the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. I did see on PFF, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show in terms of the pressure that Kyler Murray's grading versus in the scramble drill is number one in the NFL at 91.3%.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good at that.
He's had a great season, and like we talked about, he is doing things as a quarterback now that we mentioned are historic in terms of what he is doing in terms of, yards, 300 yards per game, and 75% completion over the first 5 games of the season. Only he, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees have ever done that. He is doing a great job of extending plays and keeping his eyes down the field to extend them as a thrower rather than a runner. Again, he ran for over 800 yards last year. I don't think people realize that. And this year, he's on pace to run for 300 yards. A little bit more than that, 350. But that's a massive change.
Yeah.
In terms of what he is doing. And the reason is because he's so effective throwing the football, and he's doing it very well. They have 4 receivers who together, those 4 receivers are accounting for over 1,000 yards. They're all at 261. But this is a team that, when you talk about where the ball is going to go, that's where it's going to go. Hopkins, 312, Kirk, 283. So take that right there. You're at 600. Add in another 530 from Green and Rondale Moore. You're at basically almost 1,100 and change out of his 1,500 and 12 yards passing are just to receivers. The other people who had more than 100 on the season, Edmonds 159, Max Williams 193. Max Williams is out.
Yep.
They just traded for Zach Ertz. We're not going to see that. We're going to see maybe Demetrius Harris, former Brown, play some tight end, but that's it.
Yeah.
So it's going to the receivers, and that's how good they are. He buys time, and you can't cover all these guys for that long.
No, and he can. He's really great at this year. He's changed from busting pocket and going upfield to busting pocket and staying behind the line of scrimmage and throwing the ball on the run is what he's done a lot of. I got to share this with you, and then we'll do the over-unders. So last night, the blonde is helping my oldest, my 9-year-old, study for a civics government test of some sort. So we're doing 3 branches of government, so forth and so on. And she's been in the throes of it with him for probably 20 minutes. His patience, his interest in doing this, I would put it on a 1 to 10 of a 2, probably about a 2.
Okay.
So he's trying to eat a snack while she's trying to quiz him on various things. He's kind of got a foot up as it's happening.
King of the castle.
He's
Sure.
really thinking he's running things. I can tell. I've been with my wife a long time. I can tell, but there's a certain pitch in her voice that I can identify as she's on the edge. Okay, you can do it. Anybody who's been married for any number of time knows that there's a tone that comes, and so she's in the middle of the tone. And she asks him a question about, and in the sentence is something to the effect of, "Whose duty is this?" To which he says, "You said duty." To which I had that response. To which
It's like Beavis and Butthead.
To which the look on her face was akin to the look on the face of Daenerys Targaryen on the back of a dragon lighting humans on fire.
Yeah, I was going to say probably how Steve Smith turned around and looked at whoever threw that
Same way
cup.
that Steve Smith. It was priceless. And then, of course, she loves her children, so the person who's going to get the brunt of this is me for laughing. But it was a hell of a line out of him, I got to say. That was a great line. The timing was quite good. It was quite good. You said duty.
Did he make eye contact with you?
Oh, yeah. He's like this, eating a snack. It was unreal. So chesty.
Oh,
And
man.
just what I did tell him afterwards, I said, "Bud, it's a funny line, but you got to read the room." Mom was not having that 20 minutes into test prep. You want to hit her with that out of the gates, maybe.
Did he acknowledge that perhaps he should have
No.
read the room?
I know he's at the age where, at that age, your kids are a little older than that now, but that 9, 10-year-old's really hard to read the room.
Yeah.
That's when reading the room is hard.
Yeah, they're just having a great time.
Yeah. So, all right, are we ready for a little over and under, gentlemen? Last week.
Do we have any? Do you have any kind of an intro for yourself?
Jeez, what's he got?
Oh boy, he's giving us some popcorn, some
Get
caramel
your popcorn
corn.
ready.
What is that? Caramel corn?
Oh my God! Get your popcorn ready. Is it a caramel corn?
Oh, indeed. Maybe a toffee.
So this is a little, it's a little moose munch. Premium popcorn, classic caramel.
There's
I just wanted you to.
That is
I
health
just
food.
want you to be comfortable and have a snack and let the professionals do this.
I might need
every
it.
week.
I need.
Let's say this. This is delicious. Let's also say that if you don't want to look at the label here.
I'm going. I think I might, after having one piece of that, I might need to go over to see my good friend Dr. Mickley at Beechwood Dental to try and clean my teeth after that. Woo! That's high octane right there for a chesty gibbe.
Boy, that's good though.
It is.
It's
I mean,
really
that
tasty.
flavor is a delight.
That's a delightful
Yeah,
flavor.
a little more subtle today.
Yeah.
I've been here before,
You have.
Oh.
so
Well,
I mean,
three
I've
ti-
been here pretty frequently.
This is your third time.
third trip to 4-in-1 Island.
I had a plan in place. It fell through because some people had some obligations. There was going to be a special guest to help me.
Oh my
roast you
gosh!
today.
Save it
Yep.
because
don't
you
worry.
yo-yo. You're 4-in-1, and then a 1-in-4, and then you're right back. So
I mean,
4-in-1.
I just had it was just
Little
a
dip.
rough. It was
So you
it
had
was a
gotten
lucky bad week.
you had gotten you had gotten back to the even Steven 10 up 10 down, and then you followed that up last week with a 4-in-1 week, your third 4-in-1 week of the season, Gibbe. You improved to a league best 14-11 on your over-unders.
Wow.
A league best 14-11. Z, you fail to make up ground.
Yeah, I'm sure I lost ground. In fact,
You lost some. You were starting to gain on him. It was getting close. 2-3. So
I don't think I've had a
9-16
3-2 week yet.
Right, and it's incredible considering your history at
Yeah,
the over/under game,
I know.
which you usually thrive at.
I mean, again, it just goes back to maybe he should follow my lead.
Well,
Instead
you're
of
going to go
instead
first.
of-
You're going to go first
instead
today.
instead of worrying about what I'm doing.
The
Listen,
bottom line is, well, if I just follow your lead, I can't catch you. So
That's what gets tricky.
I need you to just
Well,
have a bad
sounds
week.
desperation already in
do
week
the
6.
opposite.
Week 6.
Week 6, do the opposite.
I'm already
the
desperate.
opposite.
I'm already desperate.
I'm just going to do the exact opposite. You're going to go 0-5. I'm going to go 5-0.
It's always that possibility.
The winners write the
I need
history,
it.
Gibbe.
I need it.
The winners write the history. All right, let's begin. Kareem Hunt. No Nick Chubb.
Sad.
Kareem Hunt, total yards, rushing, receiving, rather. Gibbe first, 129.5.
I'm going to go under.
Never would have guessed that. I just never would have guessed
Going to
that.
go under on that.
Huh?
I think there's a few other backs in that room that are going to have something to say about Sunday's
Well, there's
game.
one other.
No, there's two.
Who else, Gibbe? John Stanton.
Dimitri Felton.
He's a receiver.
Gibbe with a little
I
game.
don't know,
Maybe
but in
that's
the-
a scores. Maybe
in
that's
the-
a scores teaser there out of Gibbe. Maybe pay attention to the scores.
Maybe you better look at what position is next to his name.
Oh, boy, Gibbe.
I mean, it also says guard next to Blake Hance's name, and he's been our starting
Well,
left
I
tackle.
mean, maybe that'll get straightened out by. Maybe that'll get straightened out by the bye week.
I can't.
Segura.
Yeah, I'll go over.
129.5.
Fine. I'll go over. I mean, he's only exceeded that number once, which was week 3 against Chicago, but now he's the main
He's
guy.
it.
But I do think there's going to be a lot of Uranus. I would have been much more comfortable with a number set at 150
With both?
with both.
Yeah.
That's what I
knew
would like
that.
you to have done.
I know that. And I'm trying to do the opposite with you
I think you're
on
in
the
cahoots.
over-unders.
I think you're in cahoots
I
with
would go,
Gibbe.
for the record, I would go over on that. I think he's going to have a monster game.
Over.
Next!
Over or
He's playing
under?
the injury report, though. He did miss practice for 2. I mean, I think that's I like what Gibbe did there.
Kyler Murray, passing yards. Zegura, 305.5 for Kyler.
So his average on the season is 302.
Huh.
Under. No Rodney Hudson. I think we're going to be disruptive.
Yeah.
Did you say under?
He
I
said
was
under.
busy eating my popcorn.
He's having the time of his
I
life.
did say under.
I'll tell you what, it's a hell of an adhesive to the enamel.
I mean,
It really
I
is,
had
but
one.
currently it's my lunch. We had a
I
clam
had-
bake today.
I
Just
had
never got
one.
downstairs
You didn't-
to
you didn't
the
get a clam-
bake.
you didn't
No,
get a
no, I
clam
ordered
bake?
it.
I
just
need a
never
water in
got
here.
You didn't
down to
miss
pick
out.
it
I
up.
need a water in here.
I like the
And I had one. I mean, it was.
I like the spirit of a clam bake. I don't like the practicality of a clam bake.
I love
I like the
clam bake.
idea of it.
Clams for me belong in linguine with clams. A linguine alla van Gogh, as they say in the homeland.
Oh, that's why you love it. The homeland.
Yeah.
Of course.
305, you said?
Like, just where are you getting the clams from around here? Like, they're not in Lake Erie. They're shipping those things in those shells.
That's right.
Great.
You don't want a bad clam.
You just got to clean them a little bit.
Do you?
You can't have the grit. You can't have the grit. The grit gets
We're worried about the distance it takes to get the fresh
Absolutely
clam
not.
to here.
Yeah,
That's my concern.
Rub some dirt on it. You'll
Good
be
sushi,
fine.
though, everywhere. And it's
Do
not
you?
like
Not everywhere.
There's
closer
good
to the
sushi
coast.
here.
Well, right, but that's something that's regular. There's regular supply routes. Are there for clams? Is there a calling for clams year round? So this one time a year, there's this rush on clams, and we're going to be experts at it.
Listen,
Sorry,
it's like the Mackinac peaches. When it's in season, you jump.
that's the same at all.
It's the best peach.
It is a great peach.
It's the best peach.
Red Haven's pretty good.
That's Kramer.
Red Haven peaches are pretty good up on the.
How many yards did he throw for last week?
That's your job, not mine.
Yeah, Gibby, you can't ask for this type of information.
Come on, stat boy.
289.
What do you got?
No, last week he was 239.
Stat man.
It's been trending down.
Stat man.
I'm going to go under.
Well, under.
Over or under?
Give it. Sacks, interceptions, fumbles. 2.1.
Over. Here we go.
Yeah, of
Turn the
course,
dogs
over.
loose. We're going to make up for last week.
That's the lowest number I've ever given on that.
Yeah.
It's the lowest number I've ever given.
That's easy money to the bank, kids.
But he didn't get sacked much.
It's all right.
So you're gonna need an interception out of him.
You need a fumble.
Yep.
You need a fumble from a running back.
We haven't had many of those.
No.
Really.
I feel like this is it.
Yeah, we really haven't had many of those. Next.
Wait.
Over
Zegura
or under?
Yeah. Baker Mayfield. Yards passing. Zegura.
Yep.
275.5.
275.5
That's
against
a tough number.
against this Arizona Cardinals defense.
No Nick Chubb. No Nick Chubb.
That is giving up. Yeah, but we just said Kareem Hunt's going to have a billion yards. They're giving up 229 passing this season. Only Matt Stafford would have gone above that number. The two teams that run a similar style offense to us, 212, three teams, 212, 244, and 192.
Was Cousins 244?
Cousins was.
Yeah.
244 and 3 in a game where they hung 30 on them. The Titans, 212 in a chase game. Niners, 192, although that's Trey Lance. I'll go under. I think we're going to be comfortably right around 250.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be wrong as long as it's done
In a-
throwing
with
for the
a
lead.
win, yeah.
in the first half.
Yeah, I'll go under as well.
Next.
Over or under?
He's playing the game so well right now. Give it.
You gave me a number. I'm answering the
gonna do?
number.
What are you gonna do? You
that's-
can't
Make him go first.
What'd I do?
Make him go first on everyone.
On
He's the
everyone?
champion. Yes, this is absurd. He's limiting it to I can make up one whole question. On
Well,
him.
if you get
Great.
it wrong, I get it wrong.
he is-
Like,
well,
Well, it
that's-
doesn't matter.
I love how you're
course.
just throwing a temper tantrum.
Of course, if you get it wrong, he gets. It's beautiful. Over
We
under.
say the same thing.
The
If it happens
actual
to me,
is
it also happens to you. That's right.
it's 49.5. Give it.
Over. Let's go. Shoot him out at the OK Corral. We get a defensive score this weekend. There's one
So
for you.
you're
I like the bold.
You're under on everything in terms of offensive accumulation,
Except score.
and then over on the total.
It's a walking contradiction, but look what it does for him every week.
But he wants to take the under.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, you're gonna follow in the leader's
Under.
footsteps. It's fine. Come on board. Come on board.
That's a great idea. Go the under. All right, there you go. There you go. A little bit of over under. We'll get you keys to victory coming up here in just a moment. Before we do that, though, imagine kicking back in the evenings in your very own hot tub. Now imagine actually being able to afford one. They're perfect in the fall. Northeast Factory Direct buys hot tubs by the truckload. You get a 6-person hot tub with a lounger and the lights and still afford your fall and winter activities. You think owning a hot tub would be a pain? Well, not at Northeast Factory Direct. Those hot tubs come with the exclusive hardtop covers. You don't have to worry about safety or convenience. Plus, you're going to get a lifetime warranty on the cover. If you're looking for a way to stay active, they have these amazing swim spas. It's a hot tub, but you can adjust the jets, swim against that current. You can use them year-round. I encourage you to see for yourself. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, or Freeway Drive in Macedonia, or shop them online anytime at northeastfactorydirect.com. Your keys to victory coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Beau Bishop here for Raising Cane's. Don't call a timeout. Make the right play. Score some hand-battered chicken fingers on this drive with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Bring home a box combo. Your 4 hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, fresh coleslaw, buttery Texas toast, and Raising Cane's secret cane sauce. All of them are winners. Top it all off with delicious iced tea or fresh squeezed lemonade. Game day never tasted so good, and a proud sponsor of the Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks. Time for your keys to victory. Dr. Z.
All right, for the Browns, this is going to be a tall challenge. Now, it is one that is made easier, obviously, without Chandler Jones, but we're without many of our key people. And you would go so far as to say, you know, both tackles potentially out. Nick Chubb definitely out for the Cleveland Browns. So you're going to have your hands full with a team that has not yet tasted defeat. So how do we do this? Number one, we've got to limit the big plays in the Arizona passing game. As was the case last week, one way to kind of slow this team down is you've got to keep them on the sideline. But when they are on the field, and this is a team that has the ability to throw the football down the field as well, you have got to limit the vertical passing. Against the Chargers, the Browns allowed 3 completions on passes of more than 20 yards in the air. They went for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. So those were dominant, game-changing plays. We've talked about the fact that Kyler Murray leads the NFL in completions, completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdowns, and first downs on passes of more than 20 yards in the air. They run out that 4-receiver set. They've got speed. They've got size. We cannot let them throw the ball down the field. We've got to make them matriculate the ball down the field. Number 2, again, clean sheet on offense. We've done it 3 games in a row. The Browns' first loss ever last week with a clean sheet under Kevin Stefanski. Still 8-1. Arizona has been one of the best in the NFL capitalizing on turnovers. They have 42 points off of turnovers. That's 8.4 a game this year, second most in the NFL, behind only the Buffalo Bills, the other team that people are saying is a Super Bowl favorite for their conference. They have granted a takeaway in 3 straight games and in 4 of 5 overall this year generated. In those 4 games in which they have forced a turnover, the Cardinals have won by an average of 15.25 points per game. In their lone game without forcing a turnover, they beat Minnesota 34-33, and the Vikings missed a chip shot field goal at the end of the game that should have won it. So I think that will be key. One other thing to note, the Cardinals themselves have fumbled 8 times this year, but they've only lost 1.
How about that?
Only 1 loss. Not sure if that's a demerit. Only 1 loss.
No, that's a demerit.
The luck is
I thought
bound
it was up.
to round it. Yeah, well, I love you. That's why I say I'm not sure. Sometimes love is blind. And number 3, extend drives when we've got the ball. We've talked so much about our 3rd and 4th down defense, and obviously that's important coming out of last week. But I want to flip it around. In the Browns, when they have done a good job extending drives, in their 3 wins this year, 43% on 3rd downs. 2 losses, 31% on 3rd downs. It's not everything. We weren't a great 3rd down team last week, and yet we put up over 500 yards. So it's not everything, but I think in this game it will be important because it keeps the Cardinals off of the field. It allows you to generate those long time-consuming drives. By the way, the Cardinals, in their 17-10 win over the Niners, they held the Niners to just 3 of 11 on 3rd downs and 1 of 5 on 4th downs, including that goal line stand. A few more conversions could have turned the game in the favor of the Niners. Arizona's been great on 3rd downs. They've held their opponents to fewer than 30% 3rd down conversions in 3 of their 5 wins so far this season, so they know how to get off the field. The Browns need to combat that, and I think they're going to need to come through and make some good plays in those money downs. It's really true on both sides of the ball, but I think if you can possess the football, keep them off, it is going to be a good thing in this game. You want to wear them down physically.
Do you think that Arizona – do we know for sure if they're good? There's a lot of teams this week. I mean, I know that's not the right way to phrase it. Do we know that they're great? And I don't know that we do yet because when you look through, and we'll get to it in the scores, but when you go around the league, there are teams that have records and you say, but is that a real 3-2? Because and Denver was a great example of this. And Arizona's not Denver. I'm not pretending that they are. They're far more talented and they're far more dangerous than that. But so much of the way you view them is based on that slumping they gave the Rams. That's where a lot of it comes from that.
Definitely.
They went
and
to
the
LA
way they
on a
slumped
Sunday.
Tennessee.
Yeah, they handled Tennessee early, but
Yes.
now maybe I think Tennessee's not very good.
Maybe they're not.
They're really not very
Maybe
good.
they're not.
That is the worst division in the NFL by a wide margin is the AFC South. And so that's a question with them. I think they clearly think they are by the move of getting Zach Ertz. They very clearly
Yes.
feel like they are ready to contend and go win a Super Bowl, that they feel that they're there. I'm excited to get a look at them against us because I think we're really good. Now, we haven't finished in the 2 games against the best teams we've played, and in order to be really good and be great, we have to do that. They've done it. They went to Los Angeles, and they won in convincing fashion against a very good Rams team. That we know. This is a fascinating matchup for me because in many ways, I think many of the things that we were built to do effectively are Achilles' heels for them.
Yes, and they will be without their top pass rusher. They will be without the center, which is the quarterback of their offensive line, an elite player at that position. So they're down some key pieces. I think Chandler Jones and Hudson, those are 2 critical pieces. So are we.
Yeah.
We're down a lot of key pieces and important pieces. So how this one plays out will be interesting. But I think you're right. I think this is a prove-it game for both of these teams.
I agree.
I think the
like
Cardinals
that. Yeah.
win the narrative is that, okay, they are for real. They just went on the road. They beat the bruising Browns, took them down. For us to win, we beat the lone unbeaten team in the league. We moved to 4-2. Our only losses have been on the road against teams that most people would consider to be playoff caliber teams. And we had a chance to win both of those.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point in the fourth quarter, our win probability was well over 90% in that game against Chargers. We didn't win it. Same in the Kansas City game. So we've got to come through. I think mentally, this one probably is bigger for us in terms of just outside noise and the ramifications of a win or a loss.
Agree.
I think if they lose, it doesn't matter. They've already done some good things in their division. They've already beaten the Rams and the 49ers. They'd still be at 5-1, and they'd be off to a great start. And they lost on the road against a team that is different than, stylistically than what they're used to.
Yeah. And hopefully this is the last year for them in those uniforms with the crazy 2004 striping.
Are they doing
still have
something
that piping?
new?
There's a lot of rumor that they're going to.
And they could have such sweet one. I mean, their color, the red,
The color.
white, black is just
It's
tremendous
a strong
combo.
Yeah, it's
to work
strong.
with.
Yeah, and they have the ones the Pat Tillman with the Arizona flag, which is a cool one that they have in their catalog, and they have the gray face mask already in place, which you love. So all you're missing is to get the rest of it right. And they've been in this uniform. This is them. Jacksonville, Minnesota did this. The Falcons did this. This was when Reebok took over.
Yep.
And they put all that crazy piping on everything.
It's like the Adrian Peterson Vikings where that's
Yes,
stripe
crazy
down the side
stripe.
Of the panel.
The Bengals finally got rid of it last year
Yep.
after so many years, and they're the last one that hasn't.
I mean,
had it done.
These go back to Kurt Warner.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is mid 2000s when this came in with the because everyone did that at that time. That was a Reebok signature with all
Emmitt
that piping.
Smith maybe even wore these. I don't even know. Who knows how far back it goes? Probably not Edgerrin James though. For sure,
definitely was. I want to say, if not all, probably all of Larry Fitzgerald's career there.
Yes, the vast
They've
majority
been in
for
it.
sure.
Yeah. So, all right, it is time to know the scores.
Oh, pay attention.
Pay attention, kids.
Pay attention. Last week, middling, but still season. Oh, wow. You could do a heck of a Halloween decor if you paid attention to the scores.
You really could.
You could
really
You could give Miles
do
a
whatever
run
you
for his
needed.
money, the red carpet.
You really could. Scores coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. For a running back, getting extra yards is great, but ball security always the first priority. For gamblers, keeping priorities straight also important. Make sure all your bills are paid before you spend money on fun stuff like gambling. Get more tips like this at keepitfunohio.com. And if your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Service has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns. Today, time for a little segment we like to call The Scores. Hello, Gibbet.
Week 6, but at first, how did we do in Week 5?
Oh, I like how for the first 5 weeks, he wants to just gloss over the records.
Yeah.
All we do is just put winners on the table left and right, one time after another. Never a mention. You always want to go right to the scores. We always have to bring it up. And then the one time we slip, barely, and you didn't even slip. I slipped a little.
Well, I mean, I was 8-8. You were 7-9. Middling,
Sad.
not our best.
Sad.
But I mean, we've already started this week off telling you exactly how it was going to happen. A 6-point
literally
margin.
told
We
you
told you
exactly how it
6
would
points.
As I reminded someone last night in a little group thing that we have within our department who wanted out of a certain chat, don't suck.
I don't even know how to respond
Jeez,
to that.
what an incredibly...
We're a combined 40 games over 500 through 5 weeks. Well,
It's
now
so much
42.
winning.
Now 42.
42 games over 500. I mean,
sure
it's
about
so
42?
much winning.
What does
So
that
much
mean,
winning.
Gibbe?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We literally said,
said
they're
exactly
going to
what
come.
would
They're going
happen.
to come in and
Talk
get
in
to
circles.
6.
We
Nothing to see
literally
here.
Literally
said,
told you.
You even
Run the
said
tape
the
back.
back door up 13
Yeah.
like you
You said the awning.
play by play.
Bootsy.
The awning. Bootsy was at the awning. I mean, we said it exactly. I don't know what you want from
Thursday
us.
night. The club.
The club knows.
Club knows. They know when to zig, when to zag. That's part of being in the club.
Did you even say what you guys did, or are you just busy making excuses?
No, that is
That's
go
what
play
do you
the
mean?
audio.
Play it
It's
back.
exactly how it went.
No. I meant, like, what did you do last week? What were the records?
No, we did.
Did you actually say
Yes.
I said I went 8-8 and he went 7-9.
7-9.
Clean out
42
your ears, Gibby.
them? No, it's all right. I just wanted to make you
42.
do them again.
42.
So that
Boy,
we know.
everybody's
sure.
got these gorgeous white hoodies. Look at that.
True.
Everybody's got those gorgeous
But we don't
whites.
get those.
I'm surprised you
We
don't.
don't.
At least I mean, me makes some sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Nope,
the
we
kid-
don't. We don't get
Give me
those.
can't get a hoodie.
By the way, you should have them in my size because there are players in the locker room that are a lot bigger than me that wear those.
Players have worn these? I know the staff did the sideline for that first game. Somebody tweeted me and said, "Where do you get this?" I don't know. Maybe check the pro shop if you go down to First Energy Stadium this weekend. I don't know.
I've
if
never
it's
seen
available.
those. That looks like what I think. My hunch is my guess is knowing how NFL merch works is that is like a secondary launch, like a into Christmas launch that probably isn't even available yet.
I think it's a special release just for when we wear the throwback uniforms. That's what we would wear on the sideline when we wear the throwback.
But it's like a winter throwback,
Perhaps, yeah.
one because that has not been available yet. So when you put it on this afternoon when I first saw you, that was the first time I've seen it.
I will say this is significantly better than this year's Crucial Catch hoodie, which I feel like the NFL kind of just missed the mark on.
I didn't see it.
The coaches have been wearing. They wore them last night. It's got like the little dots of color all over the little kind of checks.
Oh yeah,
The sprinkles.
yeah.
All right, kids.
Great cause.
Great
Yes.
cause. Of course, last year's was great. The helmet with
You got-
kind of all the different colors.
Just got to land it. Land
Yep.
the plane.
Week 6, kids. This is the scores on Cleveland Browns Daily. We kick things off going to London. Jolly old England hosting Jacksonville, Miami. Tua is supposed to practice today. If all goes well, Tua will play on Sunday for the Dolphins. Zegura.
I hate this game.
It's gross.
This is awful. And I
I
don't.
so.
Saw somebody on Twitter. This is us getting retribution for the War of 1812.
1812. Yeah.
It's
Who's
good.
that? Did Albright tweet? I think
Might
he
have been him.
retweeted.
He might
it.
have been retweeted. It was
Yeah.
a funny line.
It was a good one. I don't like this game at all. I just don't know if the Jags are capable of victory.
You could just stop there. I don't know if the Jags are capable. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't like this one at all. They pulled some things when they go to London, though. Remember when they smashed the Ravens?
Yeah.
That was a much different Jacksonville Jaguars team, though. I hate this game. I don't even want to pick it, but since I must, I will go Dolphins 24, Jags 20. Ugh.
I think there's been a tremendous amount of grinding in Jacksonville. I think there's a focus. I think they're grinding
lot of
things out
grinding.
right now. I think that they're grinding themselves into victories. I think you heard it straight out of the coach's mouth. He wants a 250-250 split, 250 run, 250 pass every week. And I think that's what you're going to
Godspeed.
get.
They're not
I think-
playing
I think
like
that's
Akron.
I think that's what you're going to get. I mean, he said it. He said it.
You're taking the Jags. I like it.
Miami, 21. Jacksonville, 20.
I like it.
Next,
There's nobody that I would like to support in that game.
the Detroit Lions looking for that first win of the year. That singer in the stands would love nothing more than to do a little victory song. The Lions playing host to the Bengals, 3-2
Man.
on the year.
I don't like this one either.
How much can you withstand? They have been fighting and scratching and clawing. They
They're
lose
crying.
on a 54-yarder, a 66-yarder, both by 3. Aha. By 3. Cincinnati.
I don't think the one in Minnesota was even by 3. I think it
No,
was
you're
less.
right. It was 2.
They were going to win if he missed that.
That's right. Cincinnati, 24. Detroit, 21.
I just wonder, when you've put so much into it and you keep coming up short,
How
and
much?
your coach is crying
Coach is
because it
crying,
hurts that much.
They love him, though. They play for him.
Are you able to
Play
bounce
hard.
back? Are you able to bounce back to that?
I know. You got to grind.
Cincinnati might not be bad. They
They're-
should have beaten the Packers.
They're not great in the red zone, and they're not great. They're like 30th in the league in the red zone. Cincinnati is.
Well, hopefully they can figure out. They get Joe Mixon back this week.
But he's been kind of hit or miss all
Yeah.
week long.
He has
Dude,
been.
You every week, man. You are the Joe Mixon should hire you as the PR guy for him.
He's good when he plays.
No.
I mean, he is.
You do
he-
love
He's got to
Mixon.
play. Like,
He had
you-
that game,
you
the
champion
one
that
game
guy
against us in
weekly.
December, like 2 years ago, and you were like, "That dude's unreal."
He was.
He was. Last year, he was hurt like the whole year.
It was the last.
Yeah.
It was the last game of the 2019 season, as a
Yep.
matter of fact, in Paul Brown Stadium. I don't like this one either, but I'm going to go with the firepower. I just think it's too many letdowns for Detroit. Bengals, huge, ram it.
Up next, little NFC North tussle. The Bears playing host to the Packers. Green Bay hasn't lost since week 1, flying high and flying right into Chicago. Don't look now, Matt Nagy, 3-2 on the year with
Is
the
he?
Bears.
Is he?
They're 3-2.
He doesn't even know what he's doing.
He doesn't, but they're 3-2.
He's not calling plays. He's like, I don't know what he literally said 2 weeks ago, I don't know what I'm doing. It's crazy. As a kid who grew up a Bears fan, there are a couple of certainties, and one of them is if Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers go to Soldier Field, they leave out with the souls of the Chicago Bears with them. Green Bay, 77. Bears, 7.
Same.
Next, Houston Colts up for the inmate game of the week. Houston, I don't even know how to spin this in a positive light. Houston,
Listen,
Indy,
they had a
both
chance
1
to
and
win.
4. The Colts have managed to.
Aren't they
throw
also
away
1 and 4?
victory.
They're
Yeah,
both
they're
1 and 4.
4.
Yeah,
They're both awful.
right.
Who did Houston beat? Week 1.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Before the
That's right.
grind.
Tyrod-
but
with
now they're
Tyrod
grinding
Taylor,
in
with
Jacksonville.
Tyrod
They're
Taylor.
grinding a little
With
bit. It's
Tyrod
different,
Taylor.
different Jacksonville.
Working their way up to that 250 mark.
That's right.
So, in this one, look, huge number. The Colts do not seem worthy of a number this big to me, which means who's going to take that? They're probably going to do it, but huge emotional losses for both teams. Colts on a shorter week. They're banged up. They don't even have a kicker right now. I'm going to take the Texans. Colts 27, Texans 20.
You said 20. Yep. Same.
Up next, kids, we go to Washington. Washington retiring Sean Taylor's number. Only the third player to ever have their number retired by the Washington football team. Washington's reward, a date with Kansas City, fresh off of a beating.
I'm sure, despite their public statements to the contrary, that all along they wanted to retire Sean Taylor's jersey against Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like that's what you'd want to do.
Yeah.
on
You
2 days'
could
notice.
use Sean
Mhm.
Taylor.
Yeah, I'm
on
sure that
Sunday.
was planned. Just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Look, this is where I am Serrano's bat with Kansas City. That's where I am. Jobu. If you don't take care of me now, Jobu,
Hats for bats.
get out.
Keep bats
It's a
warm.
bold statement, Cotton.
I don't
There's
think-
something like 3
Kansas City hasn't covered anything all year.
They're
Nothing.
3-13, I think, in their last 16 games
It's
against
terrible.
the spread.
It's terrible. And every week I'm like, oh, you're going to wake up. Oh, wake up. You know what Serrano said?
Yep.
Give me the Chiefs. Last time.
Week 6 already.
If Terry McLaurin is out, he misses practice today with hamstring tightness.
is going on
Curtis
with that guy?
Samuel is out. Do they have the
They're
firepower?
not good defensively either, despite what people think.
Do they have the firepower to compete? I don't think that they do. Heineke, Mahomes, it feels like a discount. It feels like they're saying everybody's off on Kansas City. One more week, let's go. I'm with you. Ram it big. Although Rick Seals-Jones might have a nice little touchdown. Former Brown filling
Rick
in
Seals.
for Logan Thomas. Rick
Man,
Seals-Jones.
5-star Rick Seals-Jones. I love it. I liked Rick Seals-Jones.
Up next, the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe they're lucky.
I mean, this
Maybe
week
they're
I could go
actually
over.
good.
I feel
The
like-
Ravens playing host to Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers.
I've already got 4 road favorites. Idiotic.
In the throes of it, you're already like this.
I
It
hate
doesn't
this.
smell right. I
No,
don't like
none of it feels good. I'm not going to change
think
it
this
now, but
one's
none of it
yours.
feels good. It's mine. I think the Chargers are the better team, but Baltimore played great. In this one, this could go either way. It's a 50-50. So here, I'm going to take the points. Ravens, 29. Herbert, 30.
Wow. Chargers, 31. Ravens, 28.
Next,
Hold on. Chargers winning outright?
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
31-28.
Good. I like that.
the G-Men welcome in the Los Angeles Rams. It's a 1 o'clock kick. We talked about it earlier in the week. The Rams having to go cross-country to the East Coast. That number screaming at you.
It does.
A lot of obstacles here for the Rams.
Well, not much from in the form of the New York Giants.
Yes,
actual football
everything
team.
else but
Yeah.
the actual
So
football team.
the Rams off the mini bye, playing well in Seattle. Stafford gets the finger right. Ram it.
Danny Dimes is
Oh
back.
no!
And he's approaching the awning. And he's knocking. Says, oh, Kadarius Toney. Remember why Herb wanted him so bad? And then he was so sad. He's been pretty good. 10 catches, 189 yards.
Sure.
I don't think this game is going to be close for the majority of it, but I do think at the end, down 14,
no.
Dimes has the ball. There's about a minute left.
Sure,
They don't care
garbage.
anymore. Garbage. Ding, ding, ding. Touchdown. Yay. Whatever. We lost
That's
anyway.
trash.
Rams 38. Dimes 30.
Up next,
Why do you like that? Just because I picked Danny Dimes up to replace Russell Wilson.
I hate this week. I really do.
I think I'm going 0-16.
some
hate it.
not so great matchups.
Well, I've never seen this many road
Yeah.
favorites. It's wild.
Carolina's 3-2. The Vikings are 2-3. Carolina playing host to Minnesota. Carolina blowing a game last week. Ugh.
This
I don't-
is gross.
No
This is
McCaffrey.
gross. Not sure it'll matter.
Well, yeah.
This is a crazy line.
Yeah.
Dalvin's
Vikings.
back, though.
Vikings 3, Carolina 0.
The curse of Cole
Oh no.
comes back to haunt him. They're looking good, but then the punter drops it. Picked up by Carolina. Touchdown. Panthers win 24. Vikings 23.
Oh my gosh.
Next.
Did you agree or disagree?
No, we went
Oppo.
Oppo.
Curse of Cole, man. Come on.
Yep.
Yep.
New England playing host to Dallas. I'm sure this will find its way onto America's game. Whatever. Cowboys taking on New England.
Do you guys think that America cares about the Patriots? I think they cared about Brady Belichick, like that was
Yes.
good theater. I don't think America cares about the Patriots.
And I don't
No,
know how many
that was
Americans care about
incredible.
Dallas.
Well, I think that the ratings prove Dallas. I mean, they deliver ratings. You can't argue that part of it. But the idea that New England does, I think, is wildly
Correct.
a wild miss in all
Mac
respects.
Jones
One of these
isn't
teams
bringing you the numbers.
No, one of these teams is good. I know the weather's not great. Won't matter. One team's good. One team isn't. Dallas, ram it.
Who in their right mind looks at this line and does anything other than what you just did? Based on what this team, they spent themselves, they played tough against Tampa Bay, then they go on the road, they narrowly escape with a victory over the Texans. Like, Dallas is good.
They are good. They are very good.
So
yeah.
what sense do you make of this?
I don't know. I can't.
Like, I'd feel better about Dallas if this line
I can't
was,
overthink it. I
If this
just can't
line was
overthink it.
6, I would feel better about
I know it.
Dallas.
I just can't overthink it.
Up next for
What did you do? What are you doing?
I didn't. He was moving on before I'd come to my conclusion. I'm
trying to keep the segment moving because we literally have 1 minute.
There's only a couple games left, Gibbe.
Who do you got?
I'm going to take the Patriots.
Right.
I'm going up. I've got too many road dogs. Many road favorites, I mean. I just think it makes no sense. Like this, if it was 6, I'd all day Dallas. But at 3, I don't like it.
Right.
Denver and Theodore playing host to the Raiders. Quite a week for the Raiders.
Isn't
the
it too much to
Broncos,
overcome?
tune up before they face the Browns Thursday
I think
night.
it's too much to overcome. I think it's just
2 gloves. 2 gloves.
it's a lot. Ram
Teddy,
it.
2 gloves.
Ram it. Theodore.
Am I getting 4? Vegas is getting 4.
It's so much to overcome, it feels like.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what?
I did 2 gloves. I said 2 gloves.
All
I
right.
don't love it, but I did it.
Sunday night foosball. Seahawks, Squealers. The Geno Smith era begins in Seattle. Will we ever see Russell Wilson in a Seahawk uniform again?
I think Russell Wilson covered up a lot of their bad.
I think so, too.
I think he covered up a lot of their bad.
He's been
Hate
practicing
to do
all
it.
week
I know it. He's crazy.
with throwing passes left-handed.
Pittsburgh 7, Seahawks 1.
Same. I agree with that completely. I hate it, but I agree with it.
Our score, final thoughts coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO today for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. It is us. It is the Cardinals. How do you see it, Dr. Z?
Well, we've never lost back-to-back games under Kevin Stefanski. I don't think it starts this Sunday. I do think even with our injuries, we are still the better team. I think the Chandler Jones and Hudson ones are significant for them. I think we are going to have to get it done. I don't think it's going to be necessarily pretty. But again, this is one of those games where you bring Vegas into the mix for a second and you say, okay, we have an undefeated team. The Browns just lost again. Who's not taking the points with the undefeated team?
Correct.
A team that went on the road. Their average margin of victory on the road, by the way, is 18 points.
Right.
1 minute.
So I think that's where everybody's looking, which leads me to believe the Browns are going to get it done. Browns, as I said, I don't think it's going to be that high scoring, 24-20.
I like
Browns.
where you're at. I like where you're at. Same. What's the weather going to be like at the stadium? Have we
60,
seen that?
cloudy, some wind.
Oh?
Oh.
Oh? Look, there would be nothing better than for Kareem Hunt. He's been so good this year to just ball out.
To have a signature game.
179, 2 scores. Like, just go nuts.
Go nuts.
He's more than capable of it, and I think it's going to fit right into the wheelhouse.
I'm going to call it, too, right here. You heard it here first. This is the Odell Beckham Jr. breakout game. I think he has a big game.
Man, I hope that. From your mouth to God's ears. Make it happen. Going to be a fun one. Enjoy the game.